I see four emerging trends in the operational environment as our Army moves into its 9th year of war, and I also see knowledge management playing a unique and important role in helping us address them. The first of these trends is the certainty of uncertainty. The fact is, the only thing certain in our future operational environment is uncertainty. If you haven't read Joshua Cooper Ramo's book entitled The Age of the Unthinkable, I recommend it to you. Near the conclusion of the book, Ramo acknowledges or challenges us to think differently about how we react to uncertainty. He says that the right approach requires a psychological shift from being certain about our future to being uncertain, a transformation that he describes as stressful as it is productive. He also introduces the idea that the more connected we become, the more stable we become, but less resilient. The second trend is the increasing pace of change. It requires us to look at the future differently than we have in the past. Rather than trying to leap decades into the future and design a force adequate for any task and for many years, we need to design a force that is adequate for the tasks we know we must accomplish and that can adapt much more quickly than in the past. This suggests we should reconsider how we define the military instrument of power during this century. I think we can make the argument that military power in this century will be defined not by throw weight or by the number of artillery pieces and tanks we have, but rather by our ability to adapt. This increased pace of change produces a trend of competitiveness as well. We now live in a competitive, secure environment where advanced military capabilities are no longer the exclusive purview of nation states. More importantly, it also requires us to dominate in what we should describe as the competitive learning environment, for it is in this dimension of conflict, in our ability to learn, where victory will be decided. We have to learn more quickly and understand more fully than our adversaries to prevail in the future operational environment. And the last trend I'd mention is decentralization. My good friend Stan McChrystal often says that it takes a network to defeat a network, and I think he's right. Our adversaries are becoming much more decentralized and networked, and we must find ways to empower the edge to address this evolving reality in the operational environment. In short, we too need to become more decentralized and networked. We need a decentralized capability and authority to the edge, but we also need to recognize the requirement to aggregate information and intelligence from the edge. The best information and intelligence often comes from the bottom up, not from the top down. We are increasingly an organization that is empowering lower and lower echelons of command, yet we have to figure out how to balance decentralization while retaining the ability to aggregate information from the empowered edge. So where does knowledge management fit within the context of these trends? I think we'd all agree that knowledge management is a tool that will enable us to more effectively deal with uncertainty and the rapid pace of change. It will enable us to successfully decentralize by providing the means to aggregate information and intelligence from that empowered edge. Knowledge management will also enable us to prevail in the competitive learning environment and ultimately adapt more quickly than our adversaries. Why? Because it brings together processes and people enabled by technology, speed, and accessibility to create the context for exchanging individual and collective information and experience. Knowledge management facilitates a continuous cycle of learn, act, adapt, learn again, act, and adapt. Knowledge management will help us succeed in institutional adaptation as well. It will weave together the Army's 4 core enterprises in a common framework to support R4Gen. At the same time, knowledge management will accelerate the rapid transfer of knowledge between those enterprises.